Hey guys, this is Sandy Yoo. You may or may not have seen this Cthulhu octopus pie that's been on the internet, but that's the one that I created, the Cthulhu pie. And I do have to apologize to the people who follow Cthulhu in the works of H.P. Lovecraft that it is an octopus, but I hope to remedy that this time with this new pie. And it did happen that my son was reading H.P. Lovecraft, and he said, "Hey Mom, can you make me Cthulhu pie?" And this is how it happened. Shout out to my friend Ted Shapiro, who actually started passing the image around after I created it. Very old friend, so good guy. And I'm going to show you how to make your own. So I will tell you what you need. One is, well, you want to preheat your oven to 420 degrees. You need an 8-inch pie dish. I prefer glass. I don't know what a professional baker would use. In my ignorance, I would say metal and glass are the same. But please use the power of the internet to check. A pastry brush. Now this is optional. I prefer to use my hands. Pie crusts. 2 of them, pre-rolled. It would be nice to use pie crusts made from scratch, but I think they rise a little too much and they tend to lose their shape, which is why I use these. And it's supposed to be fun. It's not, some kind of, no Jacques Torres. So it comes in a box like that, a long rectangular box near the the Pillsbury Crescent roll type of items, and an egg. We're going to make an egg wash from this. Egg wash being egg yolk mixed with some water, and it provides a really nice golden brown color to your finished product, and it accentuates little details where you place them. A paring knife to cut out all the other shapes. Measuring spoon, tablespoon is what we'll be using. Sugar, I'm using fair trade natural cane sugar. About 3 cups of berries, preferably blueberries for this project. A colander, so we can mash the berries with sugar and have them drain the excess liquid so that you don't end up with a soupy pie. Bowl for the berries. And a cookie sheet, which is where you're going to lay flat 1 pie crust, so you can place it in the refrigerator and prep it until you're ready to use it. And one more. This is a zigzag pastry wheel. Looks like spurs for cowboy boots. Yeehaw! And I can't think of anything else, but that's basically it. Let's start. Look, I knew I was going to forget something. A small little bowl for the egg wash. So I don't have any high-tech camera stuff, so just bear with me. So here's the egg. We're going to crack the egg. And this is what I do. I use my hands. Ooh, I got a double yolk. And I like to separate the egg and the white in my hands because it seems to be a bit more thorough. Oh, and look at that. There is no shalazi, which is the white stringy stuff. Let me just rinse my hands while I'm here. And what you need to do is put in about maybe half a teaspoon of water. And you're going to mix it. And that is your egg wash. Okay, so what I did next was mash about 1/3 of the blueberries. And I did it in the colander over a bowl. Then I added about 3 tablespoons of sugar. I do this because there's usually excess liquid that forms, and you don't want that in your pie. because it's going to make you a very soggy pie. I will show you. This is about the consistency, and you see you have some whole blueberries to pick from to use as the eyes. Okay, I'm going to roll out the pie dough. I'm so not used to this. And you're going to, this is the one that's room temperature. I have the other one in the refrigerator on the cookie sheet. So you want to gently mold it into the shape of the pie dish as best as you can. Yes. And please remember that we're going to pre-bake this for about 10 minutes with the egg wash. And I do that so that it creates a bit of a barrier. So it keeps it from getting soggy. And it's going to puff up, but don't worry because you're going to fill it with the blueberries. Okay? So I'm going to cut along the edge, the outside edge, because it's going to shrink. And don't worry if it's a little crooked. It's supposed to be fun. And pie dough is fairly forgiving. You can re-stretch it to however you wish. You can patch it up. I hope you can see what I'm doing. And then after we do this, we're going to brush some egg wash onto this. And then put it into the oven for 10 minutes. So let me just complete this. Alright. I have my egg wash here. And like I said, I like just using my hands. I feel as though it's a lot more accurate and quicker. I feel as though a lot of people have forgotten what it's like to work with their hands. They have all these utensils, you know. It's a sterile world, and it's a shame. I just poked a hole here, but that's okay. Like I said, pie dough is very forgiving. In fact, I can even use one of these, hash it up, no problem. Like they say in my hometown, New York, just forget about it. Okay. All right. Okay, so this is the pie dough that has been retrieved from the oven at 420 degrees. I left it in there for about 10 minutes. I don't know how your oven runs. It could be running hot or not. So please adjust, but it should be very light golden brown like this. Alright, so we're going to let it cool for a little while. We're going to get our berries. Reserve some berries on the side, the largest ones you can find for the eyes. We're going to place it in here. We're going to cut out our forms here on the cookie sheet that I removed from the refrigerator. So I will show you how to cut out your shapes. Okay, we're going to try to cut out the shape of Cthulhu's head. I made it a little bit like a peanut. And the eyes will go right about here. I'm going to make the little tentacle mouth, and I can add more on top if I wish. This is all freehand. I don't have a template, so it doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. And I had made tentacles, large tentacles and small ones. I made about 8 of them. So I'm trying to use as much of the dough as I possibly can. And I'm going to cut this so that one side is flat. So you have like one side of the tentacle which is straight and one which is flat. Okay, and then we're going to keep using these shapes here. so I try not to waste the pastry. So far we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'd like 8, so I'm going to create a couple more. Now, I said I was going to make it up to the Cthulhu folks, so I'm going to create some wings. And I'm going to be... This is kind of like those puzzles where you have to figure out how to get the most shapes out of a space. So, let's say I'll do one wing this way. And, well, you know what? We need this for the eyes anyway. 2 ovals. So, worked out. This is where we push the berries. Let's try to make this symmetrical. Doesn't have to be, but it would help. Okay? And then with these little extra pieces, you can make other tentacles, which is what I'll do. Well, you have to work fairly quickly because what happens is that the stuff will harden. You don't want that to happen. So I guess you need to spritz it very, very like a mist. You see what I'm doing? I'm starting the egg wash process. I need a little support here with the wings, so I'm going to use some of the excess pastry that I have left. And use it to hold up the wings. So I'm just going to kind of fold it about, like a little ramp. So I guess this part won't be cooked so much, but you see what I'm doing. These wings will probably burn. It's touching the glass, so I'm just trying to move it in just a little. Okay? This is going to go in the oven. I may add a few more tendrils, but I'm going to put it into the oven for about 45 minutes at 420, or maybe less. I'm going to watch it and see. Okay, well, I have removed the pie after half an hour at 420 degrees. As you can see, I've added the little details like the wings. Some more tentacles by the mouth. And although I seem to be some tentacles short, I took creative license to not crowd it so the details can be seen. So that is the actual Cthulhu pie. Have fun!